It's time for Veterans Issues, the show that brings you information about veterans, military, and their family. Now here's your host, Ken Rollins.
Welcome to Veterans Issues, Ken Rollins. Today we're going to be talking with a fellow. He's comes back every year about this time, Mark Ryan, with the National Veterans Day, and it's over in Birmingham, Alabama. Stay where you are and get a pen. You're going to need it today. Be right back. Welcome back to Veterans Issues. Today we're going to be talking with Mark Ryan out of Birmingham with the National Veterans Day event over there that happens every year, November the 11th. And welcome back to the show, Mark.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you drove a long way down here, that good old I-20 traffic. Isn't it?
Well, it's not
was
that
it bad?
No,
No.
wide open.
Well, if you come going to work time or coming home time, it's a whole different story. So I'll get you out of here before that.
Okay.
But that's appreciate you coming back. But this is every year you have this, and how many years has Birmingham been the national? Do you remember that?
Well, I wasn't alive
I
then,
know
but
that.
yes, I do remember. It's actually Veterans Day started in Birmingham in 1947 before it was actually Veterans Day. And Raymond Weeks, of course, who was from Birmingham after returning from World War II, through his efforts got legislation passed to change Armistice Day to Veterans Day in 1954. So a lot of people claim they were the first Veterans Day parade, but we had it in 47 before there was a Veterans Day. So
Yeah, it was Veteran Day before Veteran Day was cool. That was you mentioned Mr. Meeks. I remember him. What about who was the guy that had it before you took over?
that was Bill Voigt.
Bill
He was
Voigt,
a
yeah.
retired Air Force colonel.
Yeah, he was. I dealt with Bill for a lot of years, and it was amazing to me how the community of Birmingham comes together over there for that, and all the veterans organizations. I imagine there's everybody dealing with veterans organizations, kind of like dealing with church groups. Everybody feels theirs is the best, but to see it come off like it does, it looks like it's well planned. They don't know about all the acid pills and the Maalox and the stuff in between. The things that happen. Stuff does happen when you're doing what you do.
Oh, every day. Yeah, absolutely. We run into snags, but the thing about it is we know what we're planning, but everyone else doesn't. So if something doesn't come about, we're the only ones that know.
The one thing that you started here a few years ago with this Quilts of Honor, is it still going to be there this year?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can think, each veteran gets one. It's kind of specific to them, as I remember.
Well, that's what they try to do. They get their branch of service and where they served and as much information, and they incorporate that into the quilt. So that quilt is, specific to that particular person.
I know that every veteran that has got one treasures that more than they do that beautiful red velvet award. That's one of the things they'll fight you over is their quilt. I have one, and I know it's my ex-sister-in-law made mine for me. It's a Quilt of Honor, but it's got all that in the corner of it, but it's a beautiful quilt. And I'm over the veterans' homes, and a lot of the people in the veterans' home have them through the same group, have their quilt. And I asked the question, one of our directors one time, I said, what happened when the veteran passes on and what happens to his quilt? And she said, the family will let you know right quick. Of all of the belongings, you leave everything else, but that quilt's coming with us.
Right.
That quilt is a treasured item. And they just don't know how much that the veterans, I guess they do, but veterans really do appreciate that. This is November the 11th, but November the 10th, you're still going to have the banquet, or does that?
Absolutely.
That the night before?
Right.
What all is that? I didn't have any notes on it or anything.
Well, prior to the dinner, which begins at 6:45, we have in the park, we meet at the Raymond Weeks Memorial. We have a short little service there before we proceed down to the BJCC for the National Veterans Awards dinner, which starts, like I said, at 6:45 this year.
And you have a national veteran.
Right.
That's a Command Sergeant Major. He's a Medal of Honor recipient.
Yeah, Command Sergeant Major Benny Atkins. He's from Opelika. Sometimes you know you don't have to look very far to find what you're looking for. And he was a Vietnam veteran, and he received the Medal of Honor way past his due date on that. So we thought, what better time to honor him than right now?
In my note, it said C, Medal of Honor. What was the C for? Is that just a
Congressional.
Oh, the Congressional
Medal of Honor.
We just go MOP. All right, so that's that is given the 9th to the 10th. Then the next day is the banquet and the parade.
Right. It's the World Peace Luncheon. That starts at 10:30. We had to move it back 30 minutes because it was getting into the time that the parade starts. You get these people talking, and you never know exactly how long they're going to take to finish. But anyway, we moved it back 30 minutes to give everyone a little extra time to get to the parade. But that's the World Peace Luncheon, and we present our state Veterans of the Years from each organization, the Vietnam Veterans of America, and you know all the other American Legion and
I've been the recipient of that, and it's an awesome deal. I was disappointed my governor didn't show up. I got mine presented by a congressman. But who's your speakers this year? Do you know?
Well, for the
luncheon.
For the luncheon, it's going to be Dr. Jack Hawkins from the Chancellor of Troy State University, he's a veteran himself, and Troy has a big veterans program down there.
Absolutely.
Just tremendous down there.
Yeah, that's great. I know that. I'm trying to think of the congressman who gave him my awards out of the Etowah County area, but it's still, the award was the same, even though it had the governor's name on it. But it was great. Let's see. But you've been doing this several years now yourself. You took over after Mr. Boyd, what?
Yeah, this will be our 6th year since Bill passed it on to us. So.
Yeah, and you're not in the veteran business. You have a roofing company.
That's true.
I asked you out in the green, how does that work? I mean, you still get to spend some time on that, or?
Well, we call our roofing company our hobby, and this is because literally there is so much planning that goes on. This could be a full-time job, and it really is. We just we have a lot of people who volunteer and help out and make all this happen.
Well, everybody that does what you do, I always have a saying, they get more out of it than they put in it, and that's hard for others on the outside to understand that. I have people that just drive the van, take veterans to Birmingham, and they got to stay there all day long, make their appointments. And sometimes the people they're carrying are in better shape than the driver, but they get a lot more out of it in here. And for those of us that advocate for veterans, if not us, then who? If you hadn't stepped up, then who would have? You know.
Well, that was kind of my feeling, and like I told you out in the lobby, a lot of it is guilt on my part because I never served. I'm not a veteran, but I owe so much to you guys and everything, and my father and my uncles and everyone in my family who served. Everyone who served, all the men and women who served, that provide the country that we live in right now.
Hold that thought. We got to go to a break. Come back. We're going to talk more with Mark about the National Veterans Day over in Birmingham. Stay where you are. Welcome back to Veterans Issues. We're talking to Mark Ryan for the National Veterans Day event over in Birmingham. Mark, when we left, was talking about you hadn't served and all that stuff, and I said to you one time before when you said that those of us that did serve do not have a monopoly on patriotism, and I really appreciate the fact that some of the things you said, people need to hear that. I would like to have it on tape, but it's not the guilt thing. It's just saying that we all have a part to play in this country, and some of us play it here in the law enforcement. Somebody plays it here in this, taking care and making sure that those did serve get what's due them. That may be working at the VA hospital or other places. So there's many places. It takes a lot of things to fight wars and stuff like that. It don't all of us have to be on the battlefield. So I appreciate you. Now this, you got something new this year. and I saw on the notes, I want to make sure I'm right, I'm going to let you tell me, what is the new thing you got this year?
Well, one of the new things is we're going to separate the parade off into the different war eras, starting with World War I. And so we're going to have the parade, kind of set up with and try to recreate those particular eras. But one of the big things is, and we've been working 4 years trying to get the Budweiser Clydesdales in the parade. So we have got them. They will be coming to town. They will actually arrive on November the 9th, and that day will be their setup day. They'll be here from the November the 9th through November the 14th.
Wow, where they going to be? Can they see them?
Oh, yeah.
Where they going to be on display?
If you're familiar with Birmingham and the Jefferson County, Birmingham Jefferson Civic Center there's a new area called Uptown, and there's a paved parking lot right across the street. And we're going to put up a huge tent right there, and they will be there for the entire time.
There's so much power in it. Have you ever saw them before?
No. Well, I have seen them many, many years ago.
Yeah.
But it's been, I was a child then.
It's kind of like going to the drag races for the first time till you feel those engines. Not see them and hear them, but I mean to feel them. When you feel the Clydesdales coming down the street, and you see the looks on these children's faces, and not just children, but all of us children. But when you see a Clydesdale, we're all kids because, but up close and personal like that. And so they come through the 9th through the 14th.
Right.
They're at the 10th to see them. Is there any cost on that?
No, there's no cost.
Wow, just to be up and close. Can you get a selfie?
I'm sure you can.
Gotta ask the horse. The horses might not want their selfies on them. If I can get Kizzy back here, she's always taking pictures. She can get her back there, we can get one. And she just told me in my ear that she can get a selfie with them. So if you need a selfie, we'll send Kizzy to get a. That is an awesome deal. You said World War I, II. What do? You have something with a doughboy on it or something that resembles World War I?
Yeah,
afloat?
that's our goal. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so if you got that, and then World War II, you still got some World War II people.
Right.
That's in there. Okay, that's a great thing. Before that, so one year you had the Rook race or the Rook walk, the RUCK for those out there if I'm not saying it properly, but that's actually a backpack type thing. So you got a 10K this time.
Well, we've had the 5K and the 10K. Well, this will be our 4th year on that.
On the
as
10K?
Well. Right. And it's basically, we try to have teams of 4, and men carry a 40-pound backpack, women carry 25, and it's 10K. We've added a new component to it this year where we're going to have Newton Duke, who's going to come and he's going to tell a few important facts about his service, and then you've got to be paying attention because as you're doing your 10K ruck, you're going to have a test on what you just learned from Newton Duke. So
How about that? That's awesome.
And that's coming up this Saturday.
This Saturday. What's the date on that?
What is Saturday, the 23rd?
I guess. I'm with you. We're taping on a different day. So I said for the folks watching this Saturday, be just fine. So at what time is that going to happen?
It'll start at 8 o'clock. Registration will start.
Where's it start?
Where
at?
Oh, it's in Veterans Park in Hoover, just off of Valleydale Road.
Okay. Going down like 459.
Well, you go down 65 South and get off Valleydale, turn left, and it's about, 3 or 4 miles down there on the left.
So if I was coming from here, though, I was relating, I'd turn left on 459 and go around that way and get 280 back in that area.
Right.
That's great. But that I couldn't, no place for me to drive, so I'm out of that. And let's see, this was named, I was looking at something yesterday when the National Veterans Day was named by the Department of Veterans Affairs. Is that correct? Mm-hmm. It wasn't just some president went out here and said they'll have it, but they've had some pretty awesome people over the years. And I've seen the one that I remembered that I really was General Unray, the guy that overseen Hurricane Katrina. Awesome awesome speech, having him there. I can't think of any others. You know, there's a lot of admirals and stuff there in the past and things like that. But who was some of the?
You put me on the spot here.
Yeah,
General, the one that was over Vietnam.
Westmoreland.
Westmoreland.
Yeah.
He's been there. Neil Armstrong. Of course, he's not of admiral or general. I really don't know what rank he was, but I know he was an astronaut.
Well,
a pretty
when you go up
important
as
one.
high as he went, you don't have to worry about it.
That's right.
Well, I didn't know he had been up there, but that's an awesome deal. If you, the folks that want to go up there to that from here, I'm going to be telling about our Veterans Day a year later, but if somebody wanted to go to it's just to go over to the BJCC and LBC and signs and everything, where
Yeah, you
where
can't
it's going
miss
to
it.
be. And the parade starts about, what, 1 o'clock?
1:30.
1:30. And if somebody, now I got the number here, 205-942-5300, 205-942-5300, and that is, what if somebody wanted to enter something in the parade this year, do they still have time from what we're doing today?
Sure.
And they call calling that number?
Well, you can call that number, but the easiest way is just go to the website, www.nationalveteransday.org, and you can download a parade entry form.
Yeah. National Veterans Day
.org.
.org. Y'all got that out there? I'm looking at you. I can see you. National Veterans
Right.
Okay, they don't have to do the www, but they can go on there, and they got a form on there to put in what they're gonna have. So any of you folks that's out there watching us, you'd like to participate in the parade, there's still time to do so. I'm leaving out something there. What do I need to tell everybody that I've left off?
That's a good question.
Parking. That's what I want.
Parking?
Yeah.
Well,
If
parking.
you're coming from here to over there.
There are several parking decks down there. As far as the parade goes, that's not an option because they close all the streets. Probably, I would say at least a mile of square blocks down there is closed off. But there's generally parking along the streets and other parking decks that are away from the BJCC. So there's plenty of parking
What's the
there.
main street that they'd want to park to see the parade, where the review is?
Probably on 18th Street.
18th Street.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you get off coming to 22nd Street there and go into that exit, BJCC, go to. Well, I appreciate you coming on the show today.
Thank you very much.
I hope you have better success this year than in the past. Not that the past hadn't been good, but
Well, we try to
But
make
have
it
it
bigger
there.
and better every year.
well, you got the biggest, them Clydesdale. You can't beat them, buddy. That'd be better than having Mike Tyson. Got to go to a break. Come back. I got news that you can use. Stay where you are. Be right back. Welcome back to Veterans Issues. I appreciate Mark Ryan coming and doing the show today. And you folks remember November the 11th over in Birmingham at the big parade and all that, and the Clydesdales. Boy, I appreciate that. I want to tell you something about the election coming up here November the 8th. There's going to be some amendments on the ballots, and you need to know a couple of things. I'm just going to talk about two of them. On amendment number 2, you need to mark that yes. And what it deals with is earmarks funds generated by the state park. The funds would be used by the state parks for the state parks. So it can't be taken. You generate money at the state parks and they use it to help prison reform or something to that. So vote yes on number 2 if you would, please, and we appreciate that. On amendment number 14, number 14 keeps local laws that pass, makes them valid. So when local laws are passed, a lot of times they will expire after so many years, and you get used to doing something by local laws, like in Anniston, Alabama has a law, and then after so many years, it's not reinstated. So this way, once a local law is passed, it remains in effect and it's valid. I still need power chairs. If someone has a power chair that a veteran or some other don't need, they have no use for, and it's got good batteries, let me know. And I got people out there that do need them. They're not eligible for them through the VA or Medicaid, Medicare. but they use them for visiting their neighbors down the street, and it gives them a little freedom in their life. So if you got a power chair, just give me a call. Flu shot, got to go get mine today too. I got to do that. I'm running late, should have had it done last month. Flu shots, get it flu. Now down at the VA, the nurse down there told me the biggest transmitter of diseases that for the flu season is things on shopping carts, bathroom doors, handles, anything you touch that somebody else has had their hands on, and maybe they weren't as sanitary as you. So when you grab a shopping cart at Winn-Dixie or at Walmart or someplace and the handle is warm, think about it. Somebody just had their hand on that buggy, and they may have, So wash your hands. She said, just a hum in your mind, verse of Old MacDonald Had a Farm, and while you're washing. So I don't want to hear you singing. Anyhow, I want to remind you, Audiology has a new number over in Birmingham at the VA. It's 877-894-2600. 877-894-2600, extension 4704. And that's a new place. It's over in the new parking deck, by the way, so if you're going over there. Patricia says she needs some volunteers over there to drive those golf carts in the parking lot to pick up the veterans and take them down to the VA there. So 205-933-4396, 205-933-4396, and that'd be Patricia. I want to remind you about that law enforcement tag. We'll be talking about that more. That has helped us build the law enforcement memorial here in Anniston. And we're going to start the Afghan Enduring Freedom Memorial. Hope to have it by spring of next year. These are the official memorials that will be placed up in Centennial Memorial Park. How much time I got to? I don't have much. Well, they just take, I don't know if it's got anything to do with inflation, but I just keep getting less and less time out of that control booth up there. It seems like every week I run out of time. I'm going to throw something up there. I'd like to, this salute this week goes out to Mark Ryan, and all the folks who work to make the Veterans Day happen every year. So this is for Mark.